from the educational front, I still want to keep learning. I want to continually push myself and continually learn and grow and evolve because, as I said, if you're not learning, you're dying. I just want to try and take as much as I can from a lot of different people. I was like that when I was an apprentice. I'd go up to one tradesman and one foreman, and then I'd look at what they were doing and I'd try and the better way for me to do things. And it's just how my mind kind of works. And I still want to do that. I want to take as much as I can from everyone that's willing to teach me or educate me, and then I can make it into my own process so I can make my business the best business it can be the best builder I can be, and be the best parent and husband that I can be. They're more nurturing and, I guess, compassionate and responsible in their thought processes. I'd love to put on a female apprentice. So if this is, heading out to anyone, we've only recently put someone on, but I genuinely wanted to put on a female chippy. I just feel like that they think differently, and it's just something that sometimes meathead guys need, is just like a feminine touch and a feminine way to think. Because it's it's not always brute force that gets you to the end line. It's sometimes just a way of, if you can think smarter, you can get it done a lot quicker and easier. So
yeah, definitely, mate.
But we try and make time for each other as well. So like, as I said, I train every morning, but then Alex will train, she does Pilates in the afternoon. So we're really in sync with each other and what we need to do, because it's easily can get to the point where you just, oh no, we're not going to do it, it's too hard, we got this on and we got that on and we can't do it. So we're really trying to prioritise each other. I'm really trying to do that for each other's mental health, because it's equally as important for Alex to be healthy and sound mind, so that we can all be good for each other and the business, and also our kids.
Yeah, it's definitely so important, mate. Hey, Nath, we were chatting before we jumped on, mate, about, and as we said, we're at the back end of 2024 at the moment having this chat. It's, I think with our industry, there's so many outside factors that we talk about the control component again. And I know here in Victoria, talking with a lot of architects and drafties, home designers, other builders, trades, we're seeing a lot of slower processes getting through councils, getting all of our consultants through. The lead time to start a build is, in my opinion, pushed out quite a bit to what it used to be. So we've had some frustrations with a couple of those processes ourselves. I think we just had a big project come through from 2 years in planning and council. It's quite got a lot involved with it, so that's taken a while. But we've also seen as well, there's been outside factors out of our control that clients, you get close to signing building contracts. We've had this year, clients with health issues that haven't proceeded, and, without going into any details, like marriage breakdowns and stuff like that. Life's harder for people. So you guys have, unfortunately as well, mate, had to go through some similar stuff this year.
Yeah. So before this podcast, I sat down and wrote a list of ups and downs, just because I feel like this year has not been very kind to me. Not necessarily anything that we've done, but same sort of thing. So I think it's a knock-on effect in the building industry from interest rates and the rise. I think it's just kind of slowly caught up, and people are still a bit hesitant to spend money. And I guess maybe the other thing, I might be wrong, but this is just my opinion, is that money is now harder to borrow. So the banks have really tightened the belts up with lending. But the unfortunate thing is people still want to spend. People still want the size that they want. So I feel like I know that you guys have spoken a lot, about passive house building and thermal efficiency and all that sort of stuff, and I'm so on board with that. But the problem I am seeing is that people still want a certain size. So it's hard to build high performing homes for cost, effective prices when people want 350, 400 square metre houses. So I just feel like this year's been a build up of a lot of things, and we had a similar job situation to you guys, where we'd worked in pre-construction for 18 months on a new build, or it's pretty much a new build as an existing cottage, and we're rebuilding the whole thing. And we've done probably our fourth round of costings. Everything was good, finance was sorted, and we were literally, contract was drafted, ready to go. And the couple, I had a meeting with the husband, and he came in, and without going into too much detail, they had separated. So that was a huge shock to me, because the back end of now, what are we at? The 6th of December. So we've got two working weeks left until Christmas, and we should be building that place. So we've got 2 other projects that we're doing. We're about to hand over one in a week and a half, and we've got a couple of other small ones. But having a job of that size, probably 6 to 7 months worth of work that we had scheduled in, because we had put so much time in pre-construction, just get pulled out from under your feet like that was really hard. And we had to make some really tough decisions. I had to let 2 really good chippies go, both apprentices that we had put through, but we just didn't have the work. And it was probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to do, because I don't know about yourself, like, it's hard enough letting guys go that aren't good, let alone guys that are good chippies and good people. So that really hit me for 6 mentally. So with that job and doing having that fall over and letting the guys go, I got into a pretty bad mental place a couple of months ago. I'm past it now, thankfully, but again, just trying to stay consistent with my routine just to try and get me through. But I guess, just a knock-on effect of what's been happening in the last 18 months. It's just kind of causing a bit of instability in the building industry. But thankfully, we still do have a lot of other work within pre-construction that I'm confident about 2025 for us. But I guess it's just one of those things. I'm pretty keen to get through this year and say goodbye to it, and just start fresh from next year.
Yeah, well, you've clearly, got the mindset, mate, there. And, you guys, there's a lot of talk on the Build Insite podcast. No secrets. We're massive advocates for having a pre-construction process and collaborating through something you guys do really well, and focus on. So, what I know with us, like, as soon as something maybe doesn't go to plan, or there's a delay in a permit or something like that, you've got that pipeline of work at different stages, whether it's from inquiry right through to what's happening on site. So I guess, mate, from your side of things, how powerful is that to Newfound Building, that you can review everything and then look to see if there's something you can pull forward or have discussions openly with other clients?
Yeah, like, without a doubt, like, I feel like it's so important. It's something we didn't really ever do, but just being able to do a job revenue calculator, I'm literally looking at one up on my board. So we had that job fall over, and it was really hard with that one, because that one was literally ready to go, and it was kind of unusual circumstances for that to get pulled out like that. But still, we were able to bring some smaller jobs forward that kind of were able to see us out the back end of this year. By no means it's the work capacity of what we would want, especially for this time of year, but it's also kind of nice just to go into the back end of the year with some sort of level head. Normally, as you know, it's mental. It's like get everything done before Christmas time, but having clear forecast in front of you of jobs and the percentages of the likelihood of you getting that job, and how much work you've put into it, how many costing rounds you've done, and all that sort of stuff gives you a clear indication of where you need to be and what you need to do. So I guess that was a huge thing that we kind of took from Live Life Build, is that forecasting and the importance of it, because I guess, like, the day-to-day, you kind of get caught up in the projects of what you're doing and all that sort of stuff. And I guess forecasting can sometimes get left behind. That's what I kind of did anyway. And I think it's really underestimated the importance of that.
Well, it makes you. It's the advantage of it having that data and that as a tool is you can actually forward plan other things, not just what you're doing with your workflow, but maybe what you might want to do to grow your business or make
Yeah.
other personal moves, whether it's buy a house or go on a holiday, all that sort of stuff. It just gives you that information and data that if you're not doing it, then you're kind of flying blind.
Yeah, and I guess that was one of the things that led to the decision of us having to let those two guys go. Is we did the forecast. This project should have commenced in November and it's now December, and it's not that simple to bring a full build forward and rip someone's house apart in December because people don't want to do that. So having, the forecast in front of us allowed us to make that decision. Whereas in the past, I wouldn't have had that in front of me, and then I would have just, kept those guys on and eventually would have just drained the bank account out because we wouldn't have had the work. So I guess that's the power of it as well, is being able to make educated decisions, even when you then pick up work. So we're looking at next year, like the first quarter of the year, we're looking like we've got work, but then if we land another one that we have in pre-construction, it might block out the whole year. So if we then do that, we then need to communicate with our other jobs in pre-construction and find out whether or not we have the capacity to do those. And if we do, then we're going to need more staff and more guys to be able to do that. So the power of that's, I guess, something that shouldn't be underestimated.
Nah, definitely not, mate. Because it's sort of the hard thing with the industry sometimes is I know for ourselves, like we're actually pretty passionate about trying to give people a chance, from school to learn a trade, get upskilled, and we really strive to provide a great apprenticeship process as well, so that we want to see these people go from knowing nothing base level to being exceptional tradesmen in our industry, and women. So we, straight off the bat, knowing that what we've got through next year, it gives us the planning and when things should be starting and plotted out. It gives us the opportunity to say, okay, well, we've just committed to a young kid, school-based apprentice that's going to get an opportunity with us. There'll be opportunities for another first-year apprentice and other tradespeople. So, if we didn't do that, then you kind of might get to the point where you've got too much work on, you're under the pump, you're stressed because you've got too much that you can handle. So
you see it all the time. You speak to the guys and you see them running around and you're just like, what are you doing? Like, you've got all the work. It's like you just don't have your shit together. It's like, I can say it now, but it's pretty simple. What you got to do there, but I guess it's real hard too when you're in those circumstances where you're like, fuck, I've got that much work, I don't have the staff, everyone's let me down. You run around trying to do everything yourself because you can't rely on people because everyone keeps letting you down. It's just this vortex of shit, I guess.
I think a good business practice, and especially with building, because we wear so many hats, is being a good delegator. I'll put my hand up and say, through my young years, I've been in business now since 2011, and I used to suck at delegating. I'd just want to do it.
Micromanaging at its finest.
Yeah, and I know Daz used to be like, "What are you doing?" Like, I'd have a really good headspace to store memory, and now I'm older, I think I've burnt the brain out because if I'm not using, we use Slack and Asana and our project management stuff, and it's great because the whole team's on board. And even if I'm on the fly and so I've got to rush to a meeting and I'm leaving site or something, the boys might say, this needs to happen. Might Mark is chuck it on the Slack channel. We'll get to it in a couple of hours or something. And that's powerful. It goes back to as well, what we're doing to make sure our businesses are running smoothly. So it's
I feel like that sort of stuff's good for culture too, like it is for us. Like we do, we got a WhatsApp channel, and a lot of our team's huge for me. Like I know it is with you boys too. Like I genuinely, and this is why it was so hard for me to let those two guys go, because like my team, like I literally see them as like my family. I'm not saying that's not a cliche thing. It's genuinely how I feel. and like the communication of the team is something that's really important, and having everyone feel comfortable within one environment, even so that when the apprentices come through, it's not just this intimidating workspace space with all these old school hard ass builders. Probably what like you grew up with and what I grew up with. It's like you couldn't say anything because you get your head ripped off. And I feel like times would change for the better, because we do need more kids coming through, and we don't want to just treat them like cheap labourers, and which I know that a lot of volume builders do, and I guess even custom builders do, and we're kind of seeing the back end of it now. But we really do need to teach these guys from a young age, the craft, so it is not something that is a dying trade, because we do need more trades like across the board. Like there's an industry shortage without a doubt, and getting guys that are actually good at what they do and good at what they their craft. I feel like it's something that's priceless.
Yeah, we had Luke had Airboss Dan on a few episodes ago. He just spoke from Germany and spoke about the
I went to the pro climate training day up at Eureka recently.
Dan spoke about the processes of being a real journeyman carpenter, and
I need to jump in here for a minute, guys, to thank our sponsors, Backman Builders and Calorie Building. Without the support of these businesses, the Build Insite podcast wouldn't be possible. Take a moment to go and show some support for them so they can continue to support us, bringing you the Build Insite podcast.
More earning the right to actually have an apprentice to train them properly. I had a phone call a few weeks ago from a concerned parent that has an apprentice working for another builder, and I think it was second year, maybe an 18, 19-year-old kid. And I'm a big believer that I want to see inquiries or kids reaching out to us, or just people in general reaching out for job opportunities. I'm a parent myself, and I get that it's caring. And I nicely said to the lady, I'm more than happy to have a chat with your son. I really do implore the kid to ring up. And she said, look, I think she said she's got 5 kids. I'm not that mum that's overpowering. She said, I'm just ringing because my son's really shattered at the moment. He's been working for 18 months. He's literally going from job site to job site, just cleaning. He's not getting to do any, actual trade work. And he's being left on site with school-based apprentices to manage and stuff. And I thought there's just still a part of our industry that needs to be shook to just, tip the pot out and refill it sort of thing with the quality. But you touched on that before with starting your journey in your apprenticeship. And I mean, mate, the frustrating thing is if we're not putting time into, building good people with good skills, then we can't do what we do.
Yeah. And it breaks my heart hearing those stories, because I know that sort of environment is how these kids are going to think that the whole of the construction industry is, and it's just not true. So that's why, again, we put a huge emphasis on training our guys and trying to get them where they need to be and treat them the right way and teach them the right skills. Because if you want cheap labour, just go and get a labourer. Like, if you don't have any intentions of training these people, just don't do it. Like, because you're going to turn other people away. And we need people coming, to the trade, not going away from it. This, old stigma of building sites are all rough and, they'll shoot, close the portaloo and turn it upside down and all that shit. Those days are gone. It's not like that. You just got to choose the right builder to work for and do your homework. And I guess kids are a bit intimidated these days, and they're losing their communication skills. Like, it's not their fault. It's through the digital world that we live in now. The art of having a conversation just seems to be slowly becoming a thing that only people like us do. But I guess you got to try and, if you are a kid looking for an apprenticeship, you got to look past the polished Instagram pages and go and try and find a good person to work for, because it's more important for your longevity.
Yeah, that's it, mate. It's a little bit worrying. I know from your side of things, you put a lot of emphasis on, growth and upskilling and so forth, mate. What's your goals for the future to keep going on an upward swing?
So, we did Live Life Build. We did that for about 2 years. We're no longer a part of that. And I'm super grateful for everything Dwayne and Amelia taught me because, in my opinion, it's priceless. But yeah, it's still constantly, I guess, wanting to achieve growth and education. So I managed to do the Passive House Tradesman course this year, which really opened up my eyes. Like obviously seeing you boys and Hamish and all the other quality, I guess, passive and high performing builders down your way, it kind of sparked me in that sort of direction, and I wanted to educate myself more, which is why I took on the course. And when I did that, I was just like, holy shit, like, what are we actually building here? Like, what have I actually been taught my whole life? It just blew my mind. It just, took me down that rabbit hole. So we're trying to implement those building practices now, just as standard, ventilated cavities and all the Pro Climber wraps and that sort of stuff. Like we just did a big order of the Pro Climber wraps a few months ago, so that's all we're going to be using as a stock standard moving forward. And I guess just always just trying to understand and educate ourselves and be better. I'm just trying to really push that onto our staff and just get everyone on the same page, because it's not just, to say that we've been taught this way doesn't mean that it's the right way, and there's always another way to do something. I always say that to all of our guys. So, look, we did that. We've been away from Live Life Build for the back end of this year with, kind of what's going on with the work front, and then also I've recently in the process of selling my house. So we're on to a new journey next year. We've bought another place and we will rebuild that. So from the educational front, I still want to keep learning. I'm just going to kind of sit tight for, I think, the next few months and just try and, I guess, enjoy some family time and really focus on that, especially over the Chrissy New Year period. Pretty hungry to get some projects going next year and pump out some work. But I think I will look into Future Builder because I know they are doing amazing things, and I know that I want to continually push myself and continually learn and grow and evolve, because, as I said, if you're not learning, you're dying. So I just want to try and take as much as I can from a lot of different people. I was like that when I was an apprentice. I'd go up to one tradesman and one foreman, and then I'd look at what they were doing, and I'd try and articulate which would be the better way for me to do things. And it's just how my mind kind of works, and I still want to do that. I want to take as much as I can from everyone that's willing to teach me or educate me, and then I can make it into my own process, so I can make my business the best business it can be, and also be the best builder I can be, and be the best parent and husband that I can be.
Yeah, be a sponge, mate. I think that's always the best way. Like, yeah, I know, like, transfers, I used to like working with different carpenters through my apprenticeship. Like, you'd get something from everybody. I mean, even myself and Darren as business partners, and our carpentry background's been really extensive. We'd still, for years, we worked together, and we'd still do things differently. And the thing is, you learn things from others that you might not have thought of before. So I think is surrounding yourself and networking is a really powerful thing. And I know you're a massive advocate for that. I mentioned before with the builders catch up in the South Coast, mate. If there's anyone up that way, is there somewhere people can reach out if there's more people that looking for it?
Yeah, I think if there's any Illawarra-based builders that want to join, we do a builders brekkie. Try and be more consistent with it, but back end of the year's hard. But we try and do it, once every 3 or 4 weeks. If we don't do the brekkie catch up, we'll go and have a game of golf. But it even spreads further. So there's a couple of guys that are a bit further out. This guy's up in Sydney that come down too. So like it is very spread out, but we've got a WhatsApp group for that. So it's just, general chit chat, and, if anyone's got any issues. I've been really fortunate in the sense that one of my best mates, Matty from On Point Building, we worked for the same building years ago. So we worked together for a long time and started our own businesses outside of that. But I've always had him as support network. So that's what this other fellow that reached out to me recently told me. He's like, I just don't have anyone to talk to. And I said, look, mate, I'm here. Like, you got my number now. Call me whenever you want, because I think it's really underestimated the power of that, because we all go through the same shit as builders, and I think that's why I initially fell in love with Live Life Build so much, is just being able to communicate and be vulnerable with people that are going through the same things as you are. It's just like, because you can tell this shit to your mates, but the guy, your mate that works for the government that's on a salary that has, 5 flex days off every 3 weeks, it's like they just don't understand the risks and the amount that you put on the line every day that you go to work. So being able to share that with other people that are going through the same stuff as you is something that's priceless. So if anyone is listening to this and they want to join, just shoot me a DM on Instagram, or you can get in touch via our website, and I'd be happy for you to join.
Yeah, it's massive, mate. I know I've never taken for granted working with my brother, and who's my best mate as well. Like it can be a really tough industry, and it can be brutal. It really can be. There's not really. I was just literally chatting this morning with the Christmas break about to come up. We kind of get that shutdown period at Christmas, and then you can't really switch off for the rest of the year. You can go away, but you've still got, sites running, things in planning. So, it's important to have someone that can talk with you and understand on the same wavelength what you might be dealing with. So yeah, I know before we involved ourselves with any coaching platform, that, it was more getting in for reasons of, establishing pre-construction, or just looking at some systems that we might not be aware of. And yeah, you don't think that you're going to get out of it the community and friendship side of things. And no different to us, mate. We've built friendships with guys like yourself and stuff that you can just ring up and or at the least send some David Goggins reels to on social media to pump each other up.
Bit of pump up, yeah. And I think that was as I said before, one of the main reasons I put that post out, just because I want people to know, guys that don't have, you've got your brother, I've got Matty. We've also got, the network of builders that we do the builders brekkie with, plus everyone else through Live Life Build that I've met. I've got that. So like, I can't even fathom how many people I can pick up the phone and call. I know Hamish does say that stuff too. He's got an army of people he can pick the phone up to and call, and they'd literally you can chew your ear off to them about every single problem that you're going through. But there is a lot of guys out there and girls that are running their own businesses that don't have that, and they're sitting behind the screen looking at all the big projects all these people are building, and they're like, fuck, I'm not doing that, and I'm not making money. Like, and it's really, that's what's really negative about social media. It's great for connecting, it's great for communication and all that sort of stuff, but I know for a fact, because I have done it as well, you look at other people's builds and you see they're doing amazing stuff, and you're like, fuck, like, I'm putting in the hard yards, like, and I'm still, I don't know, I really judge, I judge myself, and I'm like a bit hard on myself, and I'm like, why aren't I there? Like, and it's a really negative way of thinking. And I got to a point this year, and I stayed off socials for a while. Like, Alex was still doing our social posting and stuff like that, but I just had to stay away from it because it was just doing bad shit in my head. And that's another reason why I put that post up, because I just wanted to tell it how it is, because I know that there's heaps of people out there that kind of just sit back and they just think that that's the way it is, and it's not really the way it is. Like, it's a lot of polish, and people don't post the bad stuff, they only post the good stuff. So I wanted to post some bad stuff.
No, awesome, mate. Like, yeah, you really you can get on and follow other people, and as you said, you can get some really good things out of it. But at the same time, don't compare yourself to everybody else. There's only one you, and no one knows your story like yourself.
It's easier said than done, but I guess but I guess it's just about creating awareness, just to say that, look, you just got to focus on what you can focus on and be the best person you can each day, and just try and be better.
Well, Nath, mate, where can people find more about yourself and Newfound, mate? Give us some plugs for the socials and that.
Well, look, I don't think people want to really find out about me, but if they want to find out about my business, you can find us online, so newfoundbuilding.com.au, or we got Facebook and Instagram at Newfound Building. So if anyone's looking to build a project, we've got an inquiry process online, so we'd love to hear from you. I'm always here for a chat as well, so if anyone wants to chat, shoot me a DM and I'll give you my number and have a yarn.
Awesome. Nath is definitely one of the real ones in our industry, and follow them along. They do some amazing work, and they definitely know how to blitz through jobs. You'll see that first and foremost. So, mate, I do miss seeing your face more regularly, and thanks so much for jumping on for a chat, buddy. It's always great fun. So, guys, that's another episode of Build Insite. Lukey, it was a late apology. He'll be back on the next one. Tune in and check out our socials for more upcoming stuff. 2025 is going to be a big one, and we got lots of fun stuff coming up. Thanks, guys.
Let's cue the disclaimer. I need to let you know that myself and the Build Insite team are in no way, shape or form qualified to give you personal or specific business advice. We strongly encourage you seek out the use of professionals for products or when you are making personal or business decisions. Everything discussed during the Build Insite podcast is our own and the guest opinion and personal experience, and is of a general nature only. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.